Natalie is a management consultant with over 20 years of HR professional experience and skill in and across a broad spectrum of human resource practice areas. She has worked in consulting and HR practice across a variety of areas within the HR practice, including in transformation, strategy, and operations improvement for clients in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, South Africa, amongst others. She believes that representation, the right kind of representation in leadership matters, so that the right type of leadership is given the space to exist and thrive. Personal discipline, willingness to learn and unleash, and being open to learn and unlearn, and being open to lifting others and making space for them is critical to driving our society and particularly our workspaces forward. We are all leaders, leaders of self or leaders of others. So we have to continuously role model what serves our communities best in the short to medium term for a collective success and sustainability. You have an impact no matter how small you think or actually are, and no matter your level of contribution, small or large. I believe that who we are is never far from how we lead. We must know ourselves and embrace the good and the bad.
Thank you, Dottie. Don't you love her energy? She's amazing, right? Yeah, it's very difficult to come up here and not have the same level of energy. Good afternoon. And how are you all? You're good? You sure? Thank you all for joining us on this surprise public holiday. Surprise! So as you heard, my name is Natalie Mathenge, and I wrote the chapter, Standing in My Light. That's from, I think, page 71 to, I think, page 74. I'm a management consultant with an HR background and 20 years of experience in global consulting. I've had the opportunity and the honor to work with the most amazing teams of women and men, some of whom are actually in this room. In working as a part of and a leader of these consulting teams, I am proud to say, and I acknowledge, that I have created impact through the outcomes of the critical projects undertaken in various countries in the region. We must acknowledge ourselves, right? Thank you. And in acknowledging ourselves, it means we have to know ourselves. And I believe in the power of knowing yourself and coming as you are. Simnaona, I came as I am, right? Yeah. In my chapter, I tackle how knowing and accepting yourself has made me be a better leader. How I have defined success for myself so that I take responsibility and accountability for who I am, how I lead, and what I achieve. So allow me to read a few excerpts for you. I won't tell you where, but it's somewhere in between there. I want you to buy the book, so I'm not going to give you leakage. The intersection between our views of leadership, success, and our values cannot be underscored. Who I choose to be, what I choose to live by, will show up in my leadership, in my work, in who I am, and what I value, i.e., success. Do you believe in that? Yeah? How we lead is never far from who we are. Values serve as my foundation. It is said that a mother's primary role in the early years of a child's life is to instill values. My values are rooted in my Christianity and my family principles. My faith was passed down to me by my shosho. She taught me the values that I hold dear, emphasizing the importance of directing my efforts towards what is right and giving me a hidden strength of spirit. My mother showed me how to live out these values. She taught me the power of intellectual growth, and through reading and the importance of unwavering focus on self-improvement. Unwavering focus on self-improvement. What got me here is not going to get me there. From my grandfather, I learned the value of silence and reflection, the importance of listening, and the art of being considerate without diminishing others. My uncles taught me about balance and introduced me to different facets of life that bring color. We can't have black and white lives, can we really? No. How many of you guys want a monochrome life? I like a lot of color, like the color in this room. So from them, I learned things such as music, love, art and dance, food, humor, and movies. Values are crucial, and they will face tests in various ways, sometimes through events, and sometimes through individuals. But it is possible to always hold on to our values and to reclaim them when necessary. But of essence is that but in essence, we must have had values in the first place. If we intend to run a marathon and not a sprint, you must have values. I have come to believe that when you authentically show up, you thrive and you do succeed. This is self-awareness. Understand your strengths and your flaws. By knowing yourself better, you can uncover hidden aspects of your identity. You determine the pace and the expectations of your career and life. Remember, I started by saying personal accountability. So determine the pace and the expectations for your career and your life. Take responsibility for who you are and how you act. I strongly, really believe in personal responsibility and accountability. And some of my colleagues that I've had the chance to supervise and are in this room will tell you, it is a big conversation for me. Responsibility and accountability, and I model that. Whether or not there are external factors at play. Yeah? So that I'm not pointing fingers at others. Huh? Understand your natural state. What motivates you? What excites you? And what drains you? It's crucial to know this to be a good leader and to be successful. Knowing what brings out the best version of yourself is what I strive for. I want to be the best version of myself so that I can apply my skills to the highest standards and produce the best outcomes. But in that, I must allow others their space and their agency. Is that not the case? Is that not why we are asking to be involved when decisions are made in this country? Allow others the space and agency to be who they are. Leadership, in fact, is not about cloning ourselves. We cannot all be the same. It is about embracing our uniqueness as individuals and harnessing it to enable you and your teams to thrive. So let me tell you an interesting story. How many of you in this room know the late, great Professor Wangari Maathai? I'm seeing a few hands. Yeah, you all know her. Karura Forest, Uhuru Park, Moi, all of that stuff. I'm a great admirer of Professor Wangari. And she often told the story of the hummingbird. And the ladies know I talk about this a lot. The hummingbird is very small. I may not be very big either, but I know I stand on the shoulders of giants. So that's why I like the story of the hummingbird. It's a very, very small bird, almost the size of my palm, very tiny. But its impact on us as humans is amazing. We are the apex of all human life. Yet that little bird, just like the bee, really affect our lives. They are great pollinators. Our plants need pollination. The hummingbird and the bee are great pollinators. Small creatures, huh? So there's nothing wrong with being small. My relatives out there, munajijua, you're my size. But Professor Mathenge and the story of the hummingbird. So she says there was a great fire in the forest. And it was really raging, uncontrollable. And all the animals were afraid. And they all ran out of the forest. stood on the sidelines, asking themselves, hey, Jamani, what are we going to do? Things are so bad. Things are thick, like our homes, our lives, everything is gone. They all stood by, horrified. All of them were standing there, except the hummingbird. There was a stream nearby, and she would fly to the stream and fly back, carrying water in her beak and pouring it on the fire. A hummingbird has a very thin beak. And it's a very weird beak. It's very long. So she can't carry that much water. But she was trying. And she was doing it back and forth. The elephants with their strong bulky bodies and big trunks. The monkeys with their near-human postures and intelligence. Birds of all shapes and sizes with their beautiful wings and beaks. All of them, they just stood by watching. And as if that was not enough, they criticized her. And they reminded her that she was not well equipped. She was too small. She was not enough. And the problem was too great and complex for her. But she was not dissuaded. She kept flying back and forth with water in her beak. After some time, breathless, tired, but still going strong, she said to the other animals, at least I'm doing the best that I can. I would rather try and do something than just stand around. Professor Mathenge then ends the story by saying, you may be feeling insignificant, ill-equipped, or that you are not enough, but strive to be the best that you can. Whatever you do matters. Everybody in this room, whatever you do matters. You don't have to be standing on this stage or have your name in that book. Whatever you do matters. Leadership is truly and only about impact. When we think about impact in our minds, we imagine great and grandiose things, but we never see impact as a culmination of everyday actions by people who came as they were, who knew themselves, and did the best that they could. They did the best that they could. If you speak to each of the ladies who have authored this book, or anybody else in this room, and even the greats like Professor Mathenge, you will find that their stories of leadership and success began simply by knowing who they are. They knew themselves, what was important to them, and then they made everyday choices by taking small actions in the spaces that they are in that culminated to impact. As I finish, I urge and encourage you to buy the book. Words have power, and we want to empower you. It is said that when a word is sung, it moves the spirit. When it is spoken, it comes to life through our actions. But when it is written, it has the power to change communities. And I hope today you have seen and will see everyday people who do greatness and deliver impact. But that you will also see great people who do ordinary things and also drive impact. Thank you all for your presence and time.